Welcome, welcome. Just hanging out here on this Sunday afternoon, morning, afternoon. I'm on the West Coast, so it is morning for me still. I was going to go live earlier, but I was lazy. Welcome, welcome. Just trying to go live more often, get more followers. I'm showing right now the Freestyle Daily. This is the paper version that you can get whenever you're on Norwegian Cruise Line. And when we went to Alaska, they delivered this 2-hour door daily. Good afternoon, Robert. Then I'm always clearing my throat. It drives me nuts, but I have water and mints here, so maybe that'll help me keep from getting a dry throat. I'm also practicing because I have no problem going live. I love going live, but sometimes when I'm in my house, there's usually people coming and going, so then it's noisy. So it's prompting me that if I get more likes, then we'll get more viewers. So right now we've just got a couple people. So we're just going to do some travel chat. If you have some questions or you want to share something about your recent travels, that'd be great. Just pop it in the chat there. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Another challenge, I wear bifocals. So when I'm reading the chat, I'm like tipping my head up to read it in my bifocals. So when I'm showing my face, it looks kind of weird, like I'm trying to show you my nostrils or something. Welcome, welcome, user. If you haven't followed me, give a follow. That way you can see whenever I have new videos up or whenever I'm live. I usually don't put my notifications on, but I check the banner at the top whenever I get on TikTok, and then I can see which creators are live. So that way I can just pop in and say hi. So if you're interested in travel content or even sharing some of your ideas, that would be great. You can follow me, and then you can always put replies on the posts that I make. So put comments about things that I'm doing or tips that you have. That'd be great. So one of the things that I posted about probably a couple weeks ago, maybe early last week, is cruising is boring. So I hear that from some people that it's not really like a great vacation, but I have a sample of the Freestyle Daily here. And that is something that we got when we were on the Norwegian Bliss on our Alaska cruise. And in this little guide, they have so many things. There's literally no way you could do everything. So this is also available on the app, but I kept having the app crash or glitch or delay. Then another thing on Norwegian, they have like picture frames on the wall, and it's an interactive screen. So you can go to the screen. Usually it's in the breezeways on the way to the elevators. You can go onto the screen and look for restaurants that you want to try to make a reservation for, or you can check the scheduling for the entertainment or the all aboard time, or excuse me, the all aboard time is actually printed here on the Freestyle Daily. The top yellow banner will give you the forecast, and then it says the sunrise, sunset. This is day 2. For us, that was a sea day. So that does not have the all aboard time because nobody was getting off the ship. But here is another example, day 4. So it's giving you the date. It's giving you all aboard time, the time that we arrive. So the time that you arrive at the port will be an approximate, usually for us, it was about half an hour after that arrival time that we would be able to get off the ship. And then they offer you information, things to remember while you're in port. I usually carry a backpack with me, so I would bring the Freestyle with me So that way I could always remember what time is the all aboard. And then you also want to verify the local time whenever you arrive in a port. Typically this all aboard time is going to be based on the local time. So it's important to know what the local time is so you don't miss your all aboard. When we are not traveling, we rely so much on our phone, and the phone auto sets to the different time zones. But in some cases, especially on a cruise, you might have your phone on airplane mode, so you're not going to be able to rely on the phone. So you need to set it to manual, and then you can go in and change your time on your phone. So here's an example of, and then they're going to have a bunch of different flyers inside. Again, you can see all this on the app typically, but they'll have flyers inside to let you know about specials that are going on and things that you can get for free. This says, ask about our free onboard credit. So then when you visit this particular, let's see, what is this? Oh, the Cruise Next desk. So that's if you're planning on going on another cruise, you can go with Norwegian. They call it the Cruise Next. And you can go there and see about what are the benefits of booking your trip while you are still on your cruise. One thing to remember in general, and always read the fine print, if you're not sure, you can always book. Make sure you know the fine print as far as cancellation, full refund, how much is the deposit, and once you are on shore and you validate what your ability is to actually participate in that cruise, you can either keep it or cancel. Best case is you're going to want to keep it because you're using your Cruise Next credit, which gives you some perks. You can also buy this. I think they even say that this particular one is transferable, but something to explore when you're on your cruise. Then they also will give you a flyer about the spa or other specials that are happening that day. One thing that I see is common misunderstanding about the spa. The spa is an onboard, I would call it kind of a luxury because it is resort pricing. And so it's going to be a little bit more expensive than if you're going to your local nail salon for a manicure, pedicure, or services for your hair. But they will give you a flyer that will tell you what specials there are. So some people do love to treat themselves with the spa, and obviously that's perfectly fine because it's your vacation and you're going to want to just familiarize yourself with the pricing for that so that you don't have sticker shock at the end. If you have any questions about travel tips to share, let us know in the chat. Put an emoji in the chat if you hear me and you're here to learn and share about travel. So this is the flyer called the Freestyle Daily. Oh, this is actually an insert in the Freestyle Daily. But the Freestyle Daily on Norwegian is provided at your cabin door, your stateroom door, every evening. It seemed to arrive between 8 and 10. And then it'll help you plan your next day. So whether it's a sea day or a port day, that Freestyle Daily will give you a bunch of information about, for example, where are you docking? Let's see, what does it say? Here we go. Norwegian Bliss, Monday, September 2nd in Sitka. I carry a backpack when I go ashore, so I would always bring this in my backpack. So it tells you the forecast, sunrise and sunset, arrival time, and the all aboard time. Typically for us on the Norwegian Bliss, once we arrived, we could plan on getting off about 30 minutes after that. You are not required to leave the ship. Some people enjoy staying on the ship if they cruise a lot and enjoying all the amenities on the ship. One thing to remember, that typically all the shops are closed when you are in port. And then special ports are going to have special requirements. For example, the flyer is mentioning to us guest advisory, port beverage collection policy, Canadian declaration card, information that you need specific to that port. So we were not allowed to bring liquids back onto the ship. So we just emptied out our water bottle or just didn't bring it with. And then the Canadian declaration card had to do more with items that we purchased and filling that out for declaration purposes. And then on each cruise, you will have specific information about what that requirement is. So the Canadian declaration card, the flyer tells us that it's mandatory for all passengers to complete the form, including those who have no intention of disembarking in Victoria, Canada. So we filled it out, but then nobody ever collected it. So I wasn't sure what the purpose was. We didn't go through customs when we came back onto the ship because when we were in Victoria, Canada, we just did a little shopping at the port. Our port time there was very short. Let's see what it says here. Arrival at, oh, that's not the right day. The arrival was around 8, and then the all aboard was around 11. So it was a short time in port, so we didn't even get off. But you will find inside of the Freestyle Daily or any of the information and planning tools for each different cruise line. It might be in the app, it might be around the ship, or it might be in the form of this flyer that they provide at the stateroom, at your stateroom. Another place that it will be available is at guest services. So here is another example. One thing that I've heard people say, oh, cruising is boring. Why would people go so much? Well, if you look in these flyers or look on the app or sometimes even online, you'll see there's a lot to do. So these are just some of the highlights. There's going to be Beatles Experience, Comedy Night, Adult Levity Comedy, and then Awesome 80s Party. That's just part of it. Then you also have special events. There's going to be painting class, future cruise presentation. So that's going to tell you all about how to get some extra onboard credit. Onboard credit is like cash that you can spend while you're on the ship. There's a game show, thriller dance class, a quiz show, Battle of the Sexes game, open mic karaoke. And that's just one part. And every different cruise line is going to have different types of entertainment that they find more suits their clientele. You might have some, if they have a clientele that is typically an older crowd, they might have something that's more appealing to an older crowd. Then, if you want the minute by minute, you can see what's happening today. And this is a sample just from Norwegian, but every cruise line has this type of setup where you can look on the app, you can look at displays throughout the ship, or you can look at the paper guide. Sometimes the paper guide is fun. If you like to really plan, take it with you to breakfast with the people you're cruising with. Make some notes on what each group member would like to do, and then plan your day. Maybe you're going to go to, let's see what we have here, the Deal or Deal, no cash, or Deal or No Deal cards available in the atrium. You're going to get that, and maybe you want to go play Deal or No Deal. Maybe you want to play bridge. Maybe somebody wants to go to the theater and watch a show or go shopping for jewelry. You're going to find all the special events in the daily information. I call it a flyer because I like to look at the paper copy, but all the cruise lines have it on their app as well. In case the app glitches, maybe you don't want the paper copy every day, you can go to guest services and they will have them either set out on the counter or you can ask for it. On Norwegian Bliss, they had screens, interactive screens, so we could walk up to the screen and then look for what we were interested in. Are we looking to make dining reservations? Were we looking for entertainment? Or were we trying to find something on a certain deck of the ship? All of that was interactive and easily accessible. So if you have any questions about travel in general, put it in the chat. It'd be great to have some interaction. If you have a travel tip or you want to share information about some of your social media and what you provide on your social media, go ahead and pop it in the chat and get some engagement going here. You have a travel tip. Do you love packing cubes or not? Do you travel only with carry-on? Do you bring one large checked bag? And actually, that's something I need to research. Does the checked bag, I think it has a weight limit, not a size limit. So if you have a lot of really light things, you might have a larger bag. I think the weight limit for us, we were flying on Alaskan, was 70 or 75 pounds, but we actually only traveled with carry-on. So the carry-on bag was a backpack, eBags Motherload backpack, and then also a small personal bag, which was for us a smaller version of the Motherload. I think it's called like an everyday bag, and it also was from eBags, and that worked out perfectly. One thing to remember, and we did see this on Alaskan, review what they allow for your carry-on and your personal bag. So some people, back in the day, I'll say, because prior to this trip, it had been about 5 to 7 years since we flew. And at that time, you could have a personal bag and a purse. Now, or carry-on, personal bag, and a purse. Now, the personal bag will include the purse. So you don't get a personal bag and a purse. So what I did, I have a small travel purse, and I put my easily accessible stuff at the top of the backpack because I knew when I got on the plane, I would take my purse out of the personal bag and then put the things that I typically carry in my travel purse into the travel purse. But it needed to be all consolidated for boarding. And then the carry-on needed to be, I believe the limit was like 40 linear inches or something like that. But each carrier, each airline will have that information on their website. So let me know if you have any questions, or add in the chat if you have anything to share about travel, favorite destination, or favorite climate. Do you prefer sun and sand and the beach? Do you prefer inland kind of remote travel? Do you prefer colder weather? a train trip. I was watching a YouTuber, and she was going from Los Angeles to Texas, and it took, I believe her trip was about 38 hours, and she had a roomette. I thought, that would be something that I would love to check out. So I'm researching that. And then we are trying to plan a trip to Tokyo, so I'll be researching that. I am not a travel agent. I have been researching that as a seller of travel in California. And it just seems like really complex unless you are working under a host agency. So I'm going to just look at the different scenarios, but I'm happy to help people with travel planning without, me doing any reservations or anything. So see how we can branch out with that. Another trip that I'll be researching is to Monterey Bay. We would love to go see the Monterey Bay Aquarium. I have been, and my husband would like to see that. So planning a trip to Monterey Bay up north of us. We do live way down in Southern California near San Diego. And next year we will be going to Arizona for the Renaissance Fair. All right, let's check it out. See what is offered on the back. Now this little flyer is just packed with information. And again, you can go old school with the paper. You can use the app that the cruise line offers. Most cruise lines do have their own app, or you can use for Norwegian, and I'm not sure if other cruise lines have this. If you know, drop it in the chat. They have interactive screens on board the Norwegian Bliss. So each time you are walking to the elevators, there are interactive screens that allow you to search for dining information. You can look at menus there. You can see what entertainment is going on the Norwegian Bliss. They have the go-karts. So that was one thing we wanted to research, because sometimes the app gets glitchy. So you do have other options. You can use the app, but if the app glitches on the Norwegian Bliss, we had the interactive screens. That was awesome. So we wanted to see when the go-karts were open and for how long. So that way we could plan when we were going to have dinner, or when we were going to go do some other entertainment, have some cocktails, or visit the buffet. So we were able to check on the go-karts. So that was awesome. And then some of the other information there on the back is the complimentary, or the quote, charge applies, dinner or other dining options. So one thing to remember, hi Ashley, is there is going to be a certain amount of food and drink that is included with your cruise fare. Yay, thank you Ashley. I hope you guys are having a great time. I know you're probably on board or about to board. So, or did you board yesterday? My days are, oh yes, awesome. I'll be watching for your content on that. Appreciate you stopping by. Love it. I love watching all your content. So back to included items in your cruise fare. It is very easy to validate what is included in your cruise fare. And on the Norwegian Bliss, I was very happy that each time there was a charge, they would verify. Miss, there's going to be a charge of, let's say, $2 for this fresh squeezed juice. So even though we had the beverage package, there was an upcharge for the fresh squeezed orange juice. We could get the regular orange juice, water, soda, and other juices free, or not free, included in the drink package. The odd thing with Norwegian, water was not included in the drink package, but you can get the water from the bar, so you could get a glass of water, but the bottled water or the aluminum can water was not included. So you'll see on this dining options, it says complimentary or charge applies. Complimentary means that you can order at these restaurants and whatever is on the menu is included in your cruise fare. Now, there was a night when we were dining at one of the restaurants, and it was clearly marked that one particular menu item did have a surcharge, an upcharge, and that was fine for me. It gives the cruiser the option that here is a menu option that we're offering to you, but it will cost a little bit more. But again, it's your choice. You could literally book your cruise, pay your gratuities ahead, and not incur any additional cost once you're on the cruise. There's plenty of entertainment that is included, plenty of typically the water at the bars, like if you get a cup of water, that's included. Some cruise lines include soft drinks. Disney Cruise Lines used to. I'm not 100% sure if they still do. Some cruise lines might include that in their beverage package, and some you might need to get like a soda beverage package. Hey Dave, welcome. But each cruise line will have that specific information, and you can ask your travel agent if you use a travel agent. One thing great is travel agents usually are pretty well versed if they have a specialty. Let's say somebody is a specialty with booking hotel type vacations. One has a specialty of booking cruise type vacations. Then you're going to get their expertise, and typically travel agents are free. So then another thing that was great in this flyer, and this is just a sample to show you information that's available on the app. On Norwegian, it was available on interactive screens on the ship. Oh, I've got a Christmas song playing. Let me fix that. There we go. Okay, what was I saying? Oh, interactive screens, the app, but the app crashes, so I liked to have the paper copy. Usually I would carry the paper copy with me when we would go ashore, but while we were on the ship, we would use the app or the interactive screens. So you can find out what time are the different restaurants open, what time are the onboard activities open, and also the location for the different amenities. Medical center, deck 13, forward. That will be at the forward part of the ship. Main pools, deck 16, mid. So that's going to be on deck 16 in the middle of the ship. Mandara Spa and Salon, deck 16, aft. And then some of the decks on every ship, some of the decks will only be staterooms. So you may not go to that deck at all unless you are going to your stateroom or meeting up with some of your people that you're traveling with. Welcome. Thanks for joining me, guys. Just doing a little tour or travel chat. If you have some helpful tips or you have any questions about travel, packing, booking your vacation. I am not a travel agent, but I am an avid traveler, and I love to research travel. So I have followed a lot of TikTokers that provide some great content and information for general travel, cruise travel. Hi, Mark. Welcome. Welcome, James. Welcome, El Aprende Todo. Sorry if I butchered it. My Spanish is not amazing. So if you have any questions or comments, something that you would like to share, trying to grow my community here, thank you for the likes. That helps a lot. You can also do a share and just copy the link. You don't even have to send it anywhere, and I think it makes a difference. I've heard that that helps the algorithm push it out. Thank you, thank you. Appreciate it. What is your favorite type of vacation? One of the things we did was Endicott Arm Scenic Cruising, and that was totally from the ship. That was amazing. And again, you'll see here, this is day 4. We were in Juneau for about half a day. Oh, thank you so much for all the likes. Appreciate it. Thank you, Dave. So we were half a day in the port, and then the all aboard was at, what does it say, 12:30. And then we started the cruise through Endicott Arm to see Dawes Glacier. That was amazing. Now you'll see here too, the flyer is giving tips on what is the noise ordinance. That's kind of a heads up, like don't get crazy late at night, and walking safely, keep Juneau's bears wild and alive, and then offering things that you would use on disembarkation day. Port valet service. So this is this information is available on the app, on the Norwegian Bliss. It was available on the interactive screens on the ship. And then I've heard people say cruising is boring. I don't find it to be boring. I find it to be, it can go from one extreme to the other. You can have a completely relaxed, unplugged, non-interactive vacation the entire time you're on the ship, with just you relaxing, having cocktails, hanging out on your balcony, hanging out by the pool, going to the bar to have a cocktail. And as a matter of fact, I think somebody told me there were something like 18 bars on the Norwegian Bliss, which I don't think that that's uncommon. I think everywhere you turn, there's a bar. But if you think about it, you can get your soft drinks at the bar, you can get coffee at the bar, a glass of water, and then also your cocktails. So having a couple on each deck isn't crazy. I think I even saw on the pool deck, there's a bar at each side of the pool, either end to end or side by side. So for the servers that would come around and serve the drinks, or for the people that were walking up to get the drinks. So, I mean, I really do not think that cruising could be boring for anybody. So here's another, this is an insert that was in the Freestyle Daily, and this provides even more information of things to do, things to see. This is talking about Juneau, but then also our upcoming port of Icy Strait Point and Ketchikan. And then secrets to a flatter stomach. They've got it all in here. Act now for free gifts. The Park West Gallery. I believe there was an art auction as well. So there's literally something for everybody. And on the Norwegian Bliss, they did have a casino, and that is very popular. Oh, here you go. $200,000 winner-take-all slot tournament. So if that's your thing, $35 entry fee. Chance to win up to $500 in cash. Poker challenge, casino promo package. So that's another thing. If you're interested in the arcade or the casino, even the go-karts, the racetrack on the Norwegian Bliss, they offer packages. So you could do it a la carte, which is what we did. We did a la carte at the racetrack, and it's a fee per person because each person gets their own car unless they're a certain age. Like adults have to ride single, but if it's an adult and a younger rider, then I believe age 18 and under has to have an adult ride with them. So then there's 2 seats, but I'm not sure how that works, if it's just $15 per car or per rider, but we were adults in our own car and it was $15 per ride. But then if you wanted to buy a package, you could buy a package that would include, I don't know, 3 rides, 4 rides, but then you also want to make sure and check out the venue to see how feasible it is to ride that often. We found the line to be very long and very slow. So we were very happy and satisfied with the go-karts once we got in them and drove them. It was very fun. But some of the cars were broken down. Some of the attendants were not there, so they had lower staff count, and so they didn't have as many staff to assist the riders, and they didn't have as many cars as they typically do. So there was like a 4-stage line, which was kind of, I mean, it was good. We got through it, but it took more than an hour. So you would have the riders that are right at the cars ready to board. Then you would have another stage where the people were watching a safety video and putting on the like a balaclava to protect the helmet from their hair. You know, like in case people have hair product or something, then they have the balaclava that you wear under the helmet. So you watch the safety video while you wait in that stage. Then there's another stage that's right before the safety video. And then there's another stage where you're sitting in the chair waiting to come up to the other stages. So it took more than an hour. The ride was very fun. The cars felt very fast to me. And they do not allow bumping and like crashing into the sides and stuff like that, which to an extent it can't be avoided, because if you're truly racing, which I had my pedal to the metal on the gas pedal there, then as you're turning, you're gonna maybe over or underestimate the turn. But it was very fun. It just was a long wait. So research that kind of stuff before you buy a package. So let's say you buy a package with 10 rides in it, and I believe it's only allocated to each person. Then once you're standing in the line for over an hour, you might think, you know what? I don't want to use the rest of this package because this is using a lot of my vacation time just waiting in the line. If you're fine with it, awesome. But, you know, just a heads up on that. Let's see. So there is another thing that's kind of fun. Let's see if I can find it. Even people who don't really drink a lot, they have a drink of the day program. So you can order either alcoholic or non-alcoholic drink of the day, and it will give you a description. I know I saw it on one of these. It will give you a description in the flyer, or like I said, on the app or on the interactive screens on the ship. So here you see it says the drink of the day, cucumber cool, and then it explains what's included. And then typically they will have this as an alcoholic and a non-alcoholic drink of the day. Now this, to me, and if you have experienced this, I would love for you to drop some info in the chat. Sail and sustain cocktail, which I did not even notice this until we got home. Discover your new favorite cocktail that's both delicious and eco-friendly. Our Sail and Sustain drink of the day incorporates surplus food as ingredients, which helps to minimize natural resources, conserve energy, and minimize pollution. Toast your vacation and a more sustainable future with unique handcrafted cocktails. Oh, okay. Yeah, so user 111, I'm not a solo cruiser, but if you are a solo cruiser, I think they have solo cruiser specific cabins. I believe somebody in our group even was booked in one. And let me see, I want to find this because they do have like a meet and greet for solo travelers or solo cruisers. So I don't think it's like a dating type situation. I think it's just, hey, meet some other people that are also cruising alone, if that's your thing. I've gone on vacation by myself before and wasn't trying to hang out with other people. But if that is something that you're interested in, let me find it, because they do have like meet and greet, and I think that, yeah, here we go. So here, solo travelers meet and greet. So you can see meet other solo cruisers on board during our relaxed solo cruiser mixer. So then maybe you want to meet new people and go sit at dinner together. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be like a date type situation. And then I think they have their own lounge in the single cruiser area, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't want to get it confused. I know that there are other lines that offer single cruiser or solo cruiser only area, and only the solo cruisers have access to that. So that's also another kind of like a little lounge where if you're in that area, you know that these people are cruising solo. It doesn't mean they're single. It doesn't mean they're trying to hook up or something. It's just something like to meet new people. Hey, KB, welcome, welcome. And then there's also, so this is the day one flyer. So it goes into more information. Some of the things you would want to know before you start your cruise, some of them are going to be things that are helpful when you're on your cruise. Now here, for example, special dietary needs. And, well, we're already back from our trip. So I'm sharing all this information because I am a information freak. I love to read the Freestyle Daily. I love to see all this. We didn't even do anything in the flyer. Like, we didn't go to any special shows. We didn't go to any special bar events or anything. We did the racetrack. We did specialty dining. And that pretty much is it. But we loved the trip, KB, and we're ready to go back again. So let me show you again. If you have special dietary needs, if you are using a travel agent or if you are booking on your own, you can put notes in your booking that say what your restrictions are. Are you vegan? Are you vegetarian? Do you have celiac? Are you gluten-free? What are your dietary restrictions? Do you have food allergies? Now, one thing to note, if you tell them that you have this food restriction and it's actually only a personal preference but not an allergy type situation, think about telling them or not telling them, because once that's on your reservation, they may not deviate from it. If you tell them you are celiac, they are going to provide you with meals and feedback that are safe for you to eat. Because it could be a liability for them if they see that you have a dietary restriction and they serve you something that goes against the restriction. Let's say you tell them, I have a peanut allergy. And then you're like, well, I don't really have a peanut allergy. I just prefer not to eat peanuts. They're not going to serve you anything with peanuts. So be aware. But they definitely can accommodate special needs. Now, another thing is scooters, strollers, and wheelchairs. Cruise ships are very accessible. You would want your first choice to be an ADA compliant room. Excuse me, I'll leave this up here in case you guys want to read that. So that way you do have the extra space to navigate around. If you use a scooter, a wheelchair, any other type of mobility aids, a cane, a walker, then you want to make sure that that is also mentioned on your reservation so that they can accommodate you. Sometimes the ADA rooms are all sold out, but your travel agent or the cruise line might be able to recommend a room that would be more mobility challenge friendly as far as location or something like that. I can't think of samples or examples, but I believe one of the things is that your wheelchair needs to be able to go into your stateroom. So it says, no scooters, strollers, wheelchairs are to be left outside your stateroom in the hallway. But that doesn't mean there isn't a place for it to be stored. Typically, there is a large open area as you're walking towards the elevators. So you can ask before booking or even at booking, am I allowed to leave my wheelchair in an area outside of the hallway? The hallways are very small. But in that case, you would need to be able to move yourself from the wheelchair to your stateroom. So if you're able to do that, then you want a stateroom closer to the elevator bay or to that open area. So it's all about communicating. One thing to remember, the elevators are not exactly super speedy. So if you are in a wheelchair or if you see someone in a wheelchair trying to get into the elevator, be courteous and helpful and don't just, push the close button and like, see ya. Hi, Lisa. Okay, B, you've never been on Norwegian. I feel like it's not as common as the other. Oh, thank you. As the other cruise lines. Definitely, I see a lot more content online from Royal Caribbean, Carnival, Princess, not as much from Holland or Norwegian. We went on Norwegian because my travel agent, no, I'm not. I'm just hanging out, talking about the Freestyle Daily and what are the different options. Kind of like a beginner cruising 101, what to expect when you get on board. But our travel agent had advertised, hey, I'm making a group cruise. I actually found her on TikTok, did my due diligence and research, and then she advertised that they were going to do the group cruise. I want to say it was in 2022 she started advertising it. And then we ended up with about 30 people in our group. So my understanding, of course, I don't dig into that with the travel agent, but my understanding is that as a group, you get a little bit better pricing. not like huge, gigantic discounts, but a little bit better pricing. And then, of course, the travel agent handles everything for you, which I love using a travel agent. And then, hey, welcome, Destination Fun. How are you guys doing? We're just hanging out here talking about all the different things available on a cruise, kind of like Cruising 101 for beginners. So I like to get the paper copy. I was happy to see Norwegian just delivered it every day anyways. If you prefer to be more eco-friendly, then you can just ask them, please don't deliver it. If I want it, I'll pick it up at guest services. The option is also there to use the app, but the Norwegian app kept glitching. It wouldn't load. It wouldn't, like, it's supposed to have the deck plans on there. Mine was stuck on deck 8, which wasn't helpful because my stateroom wasn't on deck 8, and neither were any of the activities. So I like to have the printed copy. When we would go ashore, I would carry it with me because I always had a backpack. But also on the ship, if the app is working, you can look at the deck plans. You can plan your dining. You can plan your entertainment. And then also reservations and menus. Yes, it is. We didn't go. We didn't go to any shows. Can you believe it? We just were really having a fun time hanging out and eating, drinking, going in the port. I will say the next time we go to Alaska, we will go on a different ship because the port times with Norwegian Bliss were ridiculous. It's so short. So let me see. We did have a great time. Even with the challenges of the short port times, if it was go on Norwegian Bliss or don't go at all, I would still go on Norwegian Bliss, but I know we have an option, so I won't do that again. But let's see. So here is a schedule. I don't know if Jersey Boys was every night or if it's in the afternoon. Oh, so then also you see there's portraits. You can try out portraits. There's a versus game, LGBTQ, self-led. So go to the observation lounge, and there's lots of different things to do. That's why I find it interesting when people say cruising is boring. Yes, Beatles too. And then if you are in need of Friends of Bill W., they have meetings on board as well. I believe there is also religious services chapel on board. Let's see. I'm looking for Jersey Boys. One thing we did was behind the scenes. You guys, that honestly for me, I'm a total geek. And that was amazing. I loved it. I have a video on my YouTube for that. If you guys want to go check that out. I'm checking out this other schedule. Let's see what. And then depending on where you're at in your cruise, if you're getting close to the end, it's going to be fewer things offered. If there is something specific you want to see or do while you are on the ship, you want to make sure and research that from the beginning and see what, maybe Jersey Boys is only offered 3 nights. You want to research that. Here's another thing, water packages. So the bottled water is not included in the drink package, which is crazy because we had the drink package that included your basic alcohol and soft drinks. And even the basic alcohol, there was plenty to choose from. I don't think we had an upcharge for any of our alcoholic drinks, only like the fresh squeezed juice. Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. I was like, wait, what? Okay, I'm still looking for Jersey Boys. So then they also had interactive screens. And then in the flyer that they deliver, they also offer all these different coupons and, cruise next if you want to book your next cruise. And then, what is it? Savings that sizzle. And just different, need an IV therapy. Let's say you took advantage of that drink package a little too hard one day. Go have yourself some IV therapy. Let's see, where are the Jersey Boys? I'm expecting it to be in the evening entertainment schedule. Beatles Experience. There we go, Jersey Boys. So you can look on the Freestyle magazine and book through the app, or you can go to one of the touch screens and book. You definitely want to research the entertainment options prior to boarding, because some of them are going to get their reservations booked up and you would not be able to get in. When you are working with a travel agent, you can run all those questions by your travel agent, or you can research online in your reservation, because even if you use a travel agent, you will be able to view your reservation online and through the app. There's different, what do you call it? Like at 90 days, there's different things you're going to be able to do. 60 days, there's different things you're going to be able to do. 30 days and such. Oh, really? I did see that, Abby, on, I think it was something like, there was a show called Icons, and it was like a, I want to say cover bands, but like impersonators or people that were playing the songs of the iconic musicians and stuff. That did not have a reservation available. And some of them, you're right, you don't get any access to that until you're on board. The things that we did book, hey Kelman, thanks for sharing the live. Welcome, welcome. We were able to book our specialty dining and excursions. And we weren't really like keen on going to the shows, so we didn't book anything as far as shows go. And then even when we got on board, there were, oh, thank you for the gift. Thank you, thank you. You guys are so sweet. So once we got on board, or maybe it was right after the paid in full date. So let's say you book your cruise. You're going to have certain timeline, like I said, and then you're going to have the paid in full date. There's a date that you have to pay your vacation in full, or you get it canceled by the cruise line. So after the paid in full date, you might notice that some of the opportunities open up because people decide at the last minute being like 20 days out or something, that, oh no, we're not going to go on that cruise. And depending on the fine print, they may or may not get all of their money back. So then whatever things they had reserved are going to open up. One of the things for us was we were a little bit undecided when we were in, oh, cute. Look at that hot dog. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, KB. So cute. We were undecided about Mendenhall Glacier because we knew that we would be cruising past a bunch of other glaciers. So we were undecided, but then I noticed that it opened up where it was just Mendenhall Glacier. What I mean by that is they offer different opportunities. So some of them will say Mendenhall Glacier plus a salmon bake, Mendenhall Glacier plus a nature hike, Mendenhall Glacier. So it made the excursion time longer, but we wanted a shorter excursion time so that we could wander around. I don't even remember now. Is that in Juneau, I think it's in Juneau, so that we could wander around a little bit. So we went ahead to Mendenhall Glacier, took a walk to Nugget Falls. I think I'm going to be making another video with that today, but there are videos on my YouTube with a lot more content and longer form video. So we could walk to Mendenhall Glacier and Nugget Falls. That was like a 1.5 mile out and back. Very easy to walk. And then go to the gift shop, get back on the bus, and go back over to the city area. So then we could wander around in Juneau. And then that was the afternoon that we were cruising through Endicott Arm and Dawes Glacier, which that was amazing. They let us go up on the bow, which I'm trying to think if I even took a video. I'm sure I did. And that's another helpful thing. When I have the Freestyle Daily, it tells me the day and the date. So whenever I'm looking at my date stamp on my photos, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's where we were. Because you're just kind of going, and everything is so beautiful, but you don't really like keep track of exactly where you were when you took the certain pictures. But if you look at the date stamp on the photo, then you can see and remind yourself. But anybody have questions? There's a lot of special things happening. Share, 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 tap and share. Love it. Thank you, KB. If you guys like the live by tapping the screen, that'll send hearts over, and that tells TikTok that we're enjoying it here. And then if you share it out, you can just hit the little arrow for share and just do copy link. That works really good too. So we like to do the drink of the day. You can get alcoholic or non-alcoholic. This is describing the, yeah, it's awesome, isn't it, Kelman? So it was really cool because we walked up there, and so that goes to Nugget Falls, the walkway we took. And then you can see the big pool of water that Nugget Falls is feeding into, and the glacier there in the background. So as you're standing there at the pool of water, you're looking to the left and you see the glacier, and you're looking to the right and it's the waterfall. It's like unbelievable. And then keep your eyes open for wildlife, because we saw a porcupine up in a tree eating something. Yes, so huge and beautiful. And then also when we were cruising through Endicott Arm, oh yeah, KB, it's awesome. You really have to do it. When we were cruising in Endicott Arm, we learned that there are so many glaciers, and I think the guide said only about 50 of them are named because there's so many. So we were going, let me do my puzzle piece. Oh no, I gotta try my puzzle piece here. There we go. Okay, we're good. So as we were cruising up to Dawes Glacier, we saw a bunch of smaller glaciers. If you're really looking and paying attention, you can see a lot of different glaciers on the way. So you can see cruising is boring. See that? There's just something to do all day long. Literally, if you never want to go to a show, you don't want to go to the casino, you don't drink a lot, there's still like rest and relaxation to do. So it's really like a la carte, where you book the cruise and then you build your vacation the way you want it to happen. Welcome, Marie. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for coming in. So that's what I like about cruising. We got a balcony room because it was Alaska, and we knew that we would take full advantage of the balcony. Oh, we're just hanging out talking about cruising. I'm presenting kind of like a Cruise 101, what to expect or what to look for when you go on a cruise. My husband and I went on the Norwegian Bliss to Alaska. So I have the Freestyle Daily, which is the daily little newsletter they provide. And I just was showing some of the options. Oh yeah, KB, I believe that's in Skagway. So make sure when you book that you have the options that you want to take advantage of. And the port times and all that. So we had a very short port time in Victoria. We decided before we ever even boarded the ship, hey, when we get to Victoria, we'll get off, we'll shop in the port, but we don't really feel too compelled to walk into the city, and that's fine. Oh yeah, Maria, it's awesome. And I see your screen name, Marie's Luxury Travel, so definitely you have to throw that in the mix. I've been on, 5 cruises. One, I do not remember the line or anything because it was part of a tour group when I went to Greece and Turkey. And it was a part of that tour package. And then we went 3 times on the Disney Wonder because I live in San Diego. Oh, okay. There you go. And Kelman, our port time in Victoria was, I think, 3 hours. We got there at almost 8 o'clock at night. And then our all aboard was right at midnight. Oh yeah, definitely. Balcony for sure. So I have a balcony safety video. I don't know what age your kids are. I always say my kids, but they're grown. They're young adults. So I have a balcony safety video because a lot of people say like, oh, I don't like to cruise, or I'm afraid to go on a cruise because I'm going to fall off the ship. But I showed that the balcony railing comes up to basically my armpit, and I'm 5'6". Oh yeah, perfect. And then so Marie, that you might end up getting 2 rooms because if you have 5 kids plus yourself and your husband, so then you could do 2 adjoining rooms, or 1 interior and 1 balcony, and then you guys can share the balcony amongst all of you, 1 adult in each room. You have your 20-year-old, so they could be the adult. What I always do is make sure that the person that I know 100% isn't going to cancel is the primary. I'm always the primary on our reservations because I know come hell or high water, I'm going. The rest of you could stay home. I'm the primary. I'm going on this vacation. So you could change the other cruisers, but you typically can't change the primary. It might be able to be done, but I just always keep myself as the primary. So what else? Oh, yeah, Victoria. So we arrived there, I believe it was right before 8 p.m. and our all aboard was right before midnight. So we said, you know what? Let's just go in real quick, wander around. I've been to Canada on the East Coast, Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, and the East Coast of the U.S. So for me, it wasn't like a notch in my belt. I got some nice photos from the dock. There's a nice souvenir and shopping opportunity right there in the port. So we just kind of wandered around, and then we decided to go back on board and have drinks and hang out on the balcony. There's always something to do. But the Freestyle Daily is going to be and that's a specific name for Norwegian, but each cruise line has this. You can get a paper copy, you can have it delivered to your room, or pick it up at guest services. There is an app. Typically every cruise line has an app, so you can look in there and find out what's going on. Or on Norwegian, they had interactive screens. So that actually was really awesome because I started to get sick of the buffet. Not because the food was boring or not because there wasn't a great variety, but just because I felt like, I want to sit down and chit chat with you guys and hang out, order my food, and then just sit and laugh and, have somebody bring it to me. All of the food is prepared in the same galley, so you're not getting anything that is like super elevated or, will you have steak and lobster available at the dining room? Yes. That isn't on the buffet, but that's going to be a specialty dining, which typically isn't an included item. And the night that I had steak and lobster, it was an upcharge of $25 because what was included in the specialty dining was a appetizer, main, sides, dessert, and then of course we had the beverage package. So the upcharge was for the lobster, and they are very clear about that. So it wasn't like kind of bait and switch. You can read the menus before you even go. That information is also on the app. Oddly enough, the app worked better before we got on the ship than it did while we were on the ship. So the interactive screens, actually I was talking about that. We decided kind of last minute, hey, let's go to one of the dining rooms. And so these would be the included. And so they call it complimentary. I say prepaid. Let me see here. So, and I say prepaid because it's not technically complimentary. It's included in your cruise fare. So it's not free. But you can see here, the complimentary are the buffet, Manhattan, Savor, Taste, and the local bar and grill. So then you can go on the app or on the interactive screen and look and see like, okay, well, what are the different menu options? Hey, Nautical Wanderers, how you doing? Did you guys go back to your house yet, Brittany? I was glad you took your car with you because I saw a video of a car that was electric vehicle, and the salt water somehow made it catch on fire. Oh, you're in North Carolina. Well, hopefully you are inland, more west. Oh yeah, Kelman, meet Brittany. Brittany, meet Kelman. So we were able to go to the interactive screen and look at the menu for Manhattan, Savor, and Taste. Oh, was it? Yeah, that was what I was talking about. I don't know if there was more than one. See, we're making new friends here. So we went to the interactive screen and we looked, okay, what are you guys wanting to have tonight? Do you want steak? Do you want like seafood? What are we looking for? So then at the interactive screen, we could look and see which restaurant. I believe we decided on Taste, which was kind of weird because when we sat down at Taste, we were like, hey, this kind of looks like the stuff we had at Cagney's, which some of it was, and then so some of it was an upcharge, but still. And then we also noticed that there were reservations available. So the earlier time for dinner was typically open for reservations. So you could go and look at the interactive screen, select your dining time, and then say, oh, look, it's totally green, it's open, we can go and eat there. So then we didn't have to like wait. And that night we were eating dinner really early. So that was like 5 o'clock. So we could see the availability. And then later, 9, 10 o'clock, they had like a red status ball. So we wouldn't be able to get the dining at that time. So, but I loved the interactive screens because the app would not work properly, and then we could see the interactive screens, which they're pretty conveniently placed in the breezeways. So if you were leaving the hallway from the stateroom to go to, this was the Norwegian Bliss. So if you were going to go to the elevator or the stairs, then you would be able to look at the interactive screen on your way. And then, I mean, I think sometimes the paper copy is a lot easier to read. You could bring it with your friends that you're cruising with and then talk about what plan you want to make for the next day, or, do you want to go see a show? So they deliver these on Norwegian. They delivered them to the stateroom, usually between 8 and 10 every night. So we would be out and about and then come back and there it would be. So we could plan our next day. But I do have some content on my page that says, I don't know why anybody would want to cruise. It's so boring. So, I mean, look at all this stuff. This is one ship, one day. This isn't for the whole 7 days. There's tons of stuff to do. And there's something for everybody. And even if you're just wandering around the ship, you're going to find something. You're going to say, oh, look at this. These people are playing the trivia. I'm going to sit down and watch the trivia, or, So there's so many different things to do. And then it tells you the location. I think that most cruise lines have this same type of thing, because when we went on the Disney Wonder, they had the same thing as well. So we just look at it. We just look at it every time that we would get a copy, and then check out what were we going to do. So even if we had ideas of what we wanted to do, they like we knew we were going to go on this gondola. So then here's some additional information about the gondola. That gondola was actually pretty cool. It is free. And it takes you from, I liked the ship. The food was great. Everybody was really nice. The staff was really nice. I felt like everything was well attended to. Like if you get to a certain food item at the buffet and there wasn't any, they would refill it quickly. The only thing that really, really was not great was docking in Ketchikan. For whatever reason, because I hear different stories of how it came about, that Norwegian docks at Ward Cove, and somebody said, oh, well, Norwegian bought the mill and they built it out, and so that's why they docked there. So that port wasn't great, because Ward Cove is not close. You have to ride a shuttle from Ward Cove. I thought it would then take us into town. It doesn't take you into town. It takes you to berth 4, where the other cruise ships are docked. That's totally fine, except that we waited over an hour at the dock to get on a shuttle to go over to berth 4. So if you look at a map of the Ketchikan area, you will see Ward Cove, and it's kind of like away from berth 4. And then once you get to berth 4, you have an option to take another shuttle. Now, here were the challenges for us. There were minimal shuttle buses. They were double-decker. They took forever to load. I think there was maybe 7, they said, running, but our cruise ship had 4,000 people on it. The buses hold about 70 people. So you're going to have the people going on the shuttle, and you're going to have the people going on the excursions. We had booked the Lumberjack show independently. We did not book it through the cruise line, because the cruise line booking was saying like 2 or 3 hours. And we wanted to go on our own and then wander around Ketchikan. So at the mill, which is at Ward Cove, it's like a big brick building and it has shops in there and everything. We waited for over an hour, and by that time I had to call the Lumberjack show ticketing people and say, hey, this is the situation. I'm so sorry, we are not going to be able to make it. And I wasn't asking. Oh, the inside of the ship, KB, is bright. It's not dark inside the ship. It looked really nice to me. So when I called the lumberjack show, she was, you know, very apologetic, and I told her it's not your fault. So she actually was kind enough to refund the cost of our tickets. So that was very nice. So then we got on the shuttle about 15 minutes later. That would have been the time we should have already been at the lumberjack show. Then the shuttle was kind of slow because there was construction and stuff, which is understandable because they had the landslide. So you don't want to be totally callous about them having to repair their infrastructure because of the landslide. But it just added to the frustration. So once we got to berth 4, then I was looking at the map and I thought, well, wow, if we had kept the lumberjack tickets, we would still have about a 20-minute walk, like really fast. And then by the time we get to the lumberjack show, because we're dressed for rain, then we are like sweating to death, right? So we just wandered around Ketchikan and walked around and made the most of it. But then after the fact, I also learned that some of the shuttle buses are also used to take the school kids to school. So they would interrupt part of the shuttle service to take the buses to take the kids to school. If that's true or not, I don't know. But I thought, wow, that's kind of weird. Like, I get it, but it seems like they could have a dedicated pool of buses for the port because the port would be pretty busy. I believe there was another ship there when we were there, but I can't remember which one. It wasn't Norwegian. It was another cruise line. But yeah, so the cruise line, the ship, everything offered on the ship was amazing. Oh, here's another issue with Ward Cove Norwegian Cruise Line. So we had the arrival time. Let me see if I can find it here. Arrival time was 6 a.m. The all aboard was 12:45. But the last shuttle was something like 11:30. So you have another automatic hour cut off of your time in Ketchikan. And there was no other option. They don't have Uber over there. You couldn't rent a car right there just to bring yourself back to the ship. And there wasn't like a public bus or anything. It was just the shuttle. So we had to kind of adhere to a different, even though it said all aboard at 12:45, how are you going to get back over to Ward Cove? There's no way. So you had to make sure and get on whatever the last shuttle was. Let's see if it says. Yeah, so that was really weird. They told us that when we were in the when we would get on the sorry, I'm reading this to see if it says anything. Shuttle bus service. Oh yeah, here. Guest advisory, shuttle bus service. So you see there it says, hold on, let me put this down so it's not shaking. The last shuttle from Ward Cove will depart at 10:45. That's in the morning to go from Ward Cove to berth 4. And then the last shuttle from berth 4 will depart at 10 or 11:30 a.m. So how are you going to get back? You couldn't walk. It wasn't close enough to walk. So thank you for the follow, Melissa. Thank you, thank you. So just, things to be aware of. But overall, that cruise line was excellent, but I wouldn't use them again for Alaska. Or, well, I can't even say I would be more aware of the port times because we were aware of the port times. We were aware of when we were arriving and when the all aboard was. But what we weren't aware of was the restrictions on the infrastructure, such as this with the shuttle bus. And then the last one being at 11:30. So you catch the last shuttle bus at 11:30. You take a 30-minute ride back to the port. And even though your all aboard is at 12:45, you would essentially be back at the ship by 12. So that part of it was kind of a drag. So you can easily know your time at the port, but you wouldn't necessarily know what the local restrictions are with regard to the shuttle availability. Yeah, so this is just kind of a, information, how to get more information when you're on your cruise. And then even if you do no activities, you can look at the hours of operation, dining options, Wi-Fi options. And again, I like the paper copy, but you can use the app or the interactive screens on the ship. And check it out. You can also look at my YouTube. I have some videos up there. So you can see some of the things that we saw there. We saw a lot of humpback whales. I'm not sure if I have any videos up of those because they would be like 1 or 2 minutes. And so I would do a compilation video for YouTube. And then we also saw bald eagles, the porcupine in the tree eating stuff, the salmon swimming upstream. So yeah, it was awesome. I'm going to pause you guys for a minute. One moment, please. All right, friends, I'm back. Yeah, so I like to get the paper copy, but they do, every cruise line typically has an app you can use. But when we were on Norwegian, the app would glitch. So sometimes it wouldn't load. The deck plans weren't working, but on Norwegian, they had the deck plans near the elevators. So we could always look at the deck plan and figure out where we were going, and then also decide if we were going to take the elevator or the stairs. And then also they have the interactive screens, so you could look for all the information for each port as you arrive, as well as all the different information for the activities of the day. So you can be as chill or active as you like. There's tons of different stuff. There's literally something for everybody. And then if you have kids, there is also a I don't want to call it daycare, but it's like kids club. So they have activities for the kids on board. Let me see if I can find day one, because I think they offer an open house. So if you want to plan or decide or introduce your kids to the kids clubs, then you can take the kids and, oh yes, here we go. Take the kids and introduce them to the kids club. So Splash Academy registration, Entourage registration, and Entourage turn up the bass. So there's different things. I mean, imagine being a 13 to 17-year-old and you're on a cruise and you go at 11 p.m. for a kickstart, turn up the bass and kickstart party. That would be heaven, especially as a 13-year-old. And then I have seen and heard of people whose kids have met lifelong friends on cruises. So Splash Academy registration is kids ages 3 to 12. That's a pretty big age range. So you would also want to explore the area and ask any questions about how do they attend to that big age gap. Like a 3-year-old is going to have a very different interest than a 12-year-old. So I think it's also kind of like an open house. You'll be able to go and check it out and see, what does this look like for my 3-year-old? What does this look like for my 12-year-old? And my experience when we were on the Disney Wonder, my kids did not prefer the kids club, but that was because of my kids, not because of the kids club. The kids club was colorful, engaging, and had age-appropriate activities. So if you go kind of to the registration, and I'm going to assume it's like an open house. So join our youth staff at Splash Academy, register your children, explore the space, and learn about our flexible programming. So, yeah, but definitely, I know everybody, well, most people have seen the videos about people leaving their kids alone in the stateroom. Never do that. Never, ever, ever leave your children alone in the stateroom, especially little children. Oh, yes, it does have a waterfront. I love that. That was so cool, Lisa. So it's kind of an extension of the restaurants where you could sit inside or outside at the waterfront, or they also had just kind of like a lounge area in the waterfront. I'm going to call it a strip, because that whole side of the ship would have the waterfront, and then some of it was connected to the dining and some of it was just like open seating. It was so cool. They had nice couches and chairs and table, a great place to go sit and have your cocktail, or if you're in the dining area, to have something to eat. It is outside, and we were in Alaska, so it was chilly, but I mean, we loved it. We loved it. Yeah, exactly. I don't remember what the one was called on the Bliss. Cavern? Something. I don't think it was O'Sheehan's, but it's something similar. As a matter of fact, that was on our list of things to do, and we never even went into that pub. But yeah, the waterfront is awesome. Anyways, so kids and cruising. Oh, is it? Well, there you go. See how much there is to do? I didn't even know we had it. Where is the business hours? Maybe we just never even walked by it. Where did you see it? I don't see it on the hours of operation. Is it there? Bar services? It's a bar, right? Or was it American Diner, Cavern, Waterfront, Garden Cafe, Maltings. And it probably is there. But some of the ways that they tuck things in. Oh yeah, let's check. The way they tuck things in to, oh yeah, it's, let's see. Yeah, that's probably why. Cagney's food, let me put this down so it's not shaking around. Savor, Food Republic, Bistro, Teppanyaki. Do you see it? Dining options. 24/7. But the way that they tuck things in, you could walk right by and not notice. Like one of the things that was kind of tucked in was the wine, what was it called? Oh, I can't remember. Maybe it did. And that Texas barbecue was pretty good. Oh, that's another thing that was kind of disappointing. We had made a reservation for Ocean Blue, but everywhere that we saw, it had stuff like, the Cellar's Wine Bar. That was kind of tucked in. If you're looking for it, you would see it, but as you're just strolling around, you could miss it. So Ocean Blue, we made the reservation, and everywhere I saw it, it would say like, oh, just in general, not specific to Ocean Blue. It would say, oh, dress up or don't dress up. It doesn't matter, casual dining or whatever. So we didn't have any collared shirts. Did we have, and for the gentlemen, and I didn't have anything really dressy. I had kind of a dressier travel shirt, but it was still casual. So we ended up having to change our reservation. So we changed from Ocean Blue to Q Texas Barbecue. So that was kind of a bummer because my sister-in-law read on the day that we were getting ready to go to Ocean Blue. She says, hey, I just read this and it says collared shirts. I was like, what? So then I called the restaurant. I said, hey, so we see that it says no collared, or you have to have a collared shirt. And then there was a certain dress code recommendation for the ladies. But I said, we don't have collared shirts, but we have plain t-shirts, like, brand new, nice, crisp. It wasn't like, cleaning the house t-shirt. And they said, oh, no, I'm sorry, you can't have t-shirts. So that was kind of a drag. I was looking forward to the seafood there, but we got our fix somewhere else, so that was fine. All right, friends, I think I'm going to call it a day here with this live, and thank you so much for hanging out with me. I probably will download this live and add it to my YouTube. You won't be able to see the commentary or the questions in the chat, but you will be able to hear my answers. That is one of the drawbacks on downloading the live after the fact. It does not take the commentary with it. But if you follow me, then you will also see when I go live next. And then you can also check my bio and check out my YouTube. I would love to have you subscribe over there. That's free. And follow me here. All right. So you guys have a great afternoon. Happy vacation. Happy cruising. Happy vacation planning, whatever you are up to get to your next vacation. Thank you, Lisa. Have a great day. Talk to you guys later. Oh, you know what? I'm going to give myself some likes just to get to 3K. I don't know if that messes with the algorithm or not, but I'm going to do it. Let's see. Did we get there? 3K? Yep. All right, cool. Have a great day, guys. Thank you.